Welcome back to my channel. My name is Anthony Owusu if you're new here. And today we're going to be talking about the 5 things that I hate about being raw. That's right, hate. Number 1, social settings. Okay, so we all know this, right? The world isn't raw. Most of the places that we go to aren't raw. It's sometimes really hard to find things, but social settings. A lot of our customs and a lot of our way of living deals with like our family and just people in general, just being social. So when I was on my juice cleanse and when I transitioned to being raw, it was hard for me to just want to go to restaurants. Sometimes you don't want to be a bother. Whenever everybody orders a certain thing, you just don't want to necessarily be the odd one out. We've all been through this. If you're raw, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You go out with a couple of friends and everybody decides to order what's on the menu and you have to be the one that changes certain things up. You have to tell them to either take off the cheese or take off the meat or take off this, take off that, add this instead of that, you know? And then sometimes you even have to bring your own stuff, like your own guacamole from home or avocados from home or dressing or salad dressing, right? So it just makes it feel as if it's a lot and it feels as if it's too much and it feels as if it's such a hassle because it low-key kind of is. But at the end of the day, you have to prioritize your health, and it just sucks that the world hasn't really caught up yet to it. Not that there aren't ways around it and not that you should care, but if you didn't have to go through that, that would be great. But you know, it is what it is. I have so many memories of like being around food and being around family and, you know, not being able to have that as much is a little weird, you know, until you probably find yourself a tribe of raw food people that you can like do certain things with and have certain events with. It's always going to be a little hard for you to enjoy those moments or for you to sometimes be a part of those moments, just because although you're there, because you're doing something else or something different from the group, sometimes it can still feel as if you aren't a part of the group. That part of it sucks, but I think a solution to that would be if you can hang around people that eat the same way that you kind of do, or even high raw people. They would understand, right? But it's like at least you would have options. Number 2, favorite fruits going out of season. Watermelon season just passed, man. I'm like so pressed because right now I'm still drinking my watermelon, but I know that the ones that I'm probably drinking are probably ones that they had frozen for some time, and it's getting really hard to find the seeded ones, if at all. So the ones that I'm getting aren't even as sweet as the ones that, you know, a couple of months ago I was getting. So it just sucks. Fruits have their seasons, right? And that it makes sense. Certain fruits grow in certain times, there's certain different time periods, and that's great. But when I was on the standard American diet, you got meat all year round. I don't remember like not being able to eat salmon or not being able to eat certain meats just because it was like the winter time or just because it was a couple months later. I always just had that, right? So it's a little bit of a change and it's kind of like annoying, but it's understandable because I mean, that's how they grow. They grow in different seasons, and the best season for this is not the best season for this other plant. So it makes sense, but it's still annoying and I still hate it. Number 3, cold food. Now, there's nothing wrong with cold food, especially in the summertime, right? I'm actually gonna make a video. It's probably gonna either come before this video or after this video of how to deal with being raw in the fall and winter time, okay? Nonetheless, it sucks and I hate it. Not because there isn't a way around it, but I know what warm food tastes like, and seeing people enjoy the warm food and the warmness of it and how it just makes you feel. You know, it just sucks that you can't be a part of that. It low-key just feels as if it's like another hassle, just another thing that you have to get over, right? Or just another thing that you can't do that others get to do. So it's not necessarily really a big deal, but it is still something that I hate, being around family and like feeling warm and cozy and all that. And you can do all that too still with raw, but it just doesn't necessarily hit the same, right? And that's okay, because at the end of the day, I'm choosing my health over warm food, and usually that warm food is usually for like a season, right? Summertime, you usually want cold food. You usually want to cool down. So as long as you can get through the cold season, the fall and the winter time, you're fine. You have other seasons that you can enjoy a lot of cold food, but nonetheless, it's still annoying and I still hate it. So another thing that I hate is not having access. You know how when you're eating the standard American diet or just the way that I used to eat, you have fast food. The gas station around the corner will probably serve hot dogs and just like desserts and certain things like that that you can eat. But the access to raw food, it's like you have to go to a store or you have to go to a nearby convenience store. But even the convenience store, you might find produce there, but they'll probably be charging you times like 3 as opposed to like a regular store, right? Just that access to being able to get raw food, you usually have to go to an actual store. You'll have a McDonald's around the corner like every block. You don't have that. You don't have a smoothie shop on every corner. More than likely, you're gonna have to go to a store to be able to get your food. There's nothing wrong with that, but I wish that the access to it was a little bit more like everything else. At the end of the day though, I know I live in Cali. You might find fruit stands in maybe every 3 blocks or something like that. But I do know that there are other places that aren't like Cali at all. And even here, sometimes it's hard to find a fruit stand. So I know that in other places, it's definitely a lot harder to have access to any type of raw food. Number 5, how long it takes to make certain types of food, especially if you want them warm, like dehydrating foods. Back when I used to cook food, it was just like, it's like this. It's like a minute, you got your warm food and it tastes amazing, right? But with warming your food up or wanting some type of warm food, sometimes it takes a minute because sometimes you have to dehydrate certain things. Usually the warm meals are usually kind of more so the gourmet ones, and sometimes it just takes a lot more prep to get a similar result as opposed to when you put something under the fire or when you're cooking something, it's usually instant. I'd rather have my health over just being able to cook something super fast, right? I'd rather have the option to dehydrate something at a lower temperature and still be able to get the enzymes from what it is that I'm eating than to burn it all or to cook it all away. That's what you're doing it for. At the end of the day, we have to remember why it is that we're doing what it is that we're doing. But nonetheless, it still does not mean that you can't hate certain things about it. It's okay to hate certain things about it. But I just thought that I should make this video because I don't know if I've seen a video about hating this way of living. I always hear good things about it, and there are a lot of great things about it, but it still does not mean that there aren't annoying or just like things that you just don't like about it or things that are inconvenient. So I just thought that it would be a fun little video for me to make. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was entertaining for you. If you're raw, I know you understand some of these things that I listed off, and I know you hate it too. Let me know below if there's anything else that you hate about living this lifestyle. At the end of the day, we love being raw. We understand the benefits of it. We enjoy it, but still does not mean that there aren't certain things that you might not like. Let me know below if there's anything that I missed or certain things that just annoy you and grind your gears about this lifestyle. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.